I'm not gonna sit here and say that the Pope myself or an angel myself, but you know, I don't associate myself with demons or animals and people that just have no heart whatsoever.
You know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, now he's in hide mode because he can't even push that agenda. No, he can't. He can't sell no music. He can't sell himself. Nearly 4 years after Young Dolph was murdered, shocking courtroom testimony has reignited questions about the case's biggest mystery. Where is Yo Gotti? Hernandez Govan, accused of orchestrating the hit, has seen his trial repeatedly delayed, sending ripples through Memphis and the hip-hop world. The trial was originally set to start on March 10th. It has now been pushed back to July of 2025. In the wake of these developments and the killing of Gotti's brother, Big Juke, Yo Gotti has noticeably scaled back his public appearances and social media activity. No charges have been filed, but the silence speaks volumes. However, the courtroom and the internet all want answers. Where is Yo Gotti? Public silence and internet whispers. Yo Gotti has remained publicly silent ever since the latest courtroom twists in the Young Dolph murder case. During pretrial hearings, Hernandez Govan, the man prosecutors accuse of orchestrating the hit, stood before a Memphis judge and made statements that quickly rippled across the internet. While Govan never named Yo Gotti, his cryptic references to outside conversations and possible financial motivations sparked a firestorm of online speculation. In the aftermath, fans began asking the same question, where is Yo Gotti? Over the following weeks, the CMG boss seemed to step back from the spotlight. He skipped high-profile appearances, avoided interviews, and was noticeably absent from promotional events, even those involving his top artist, Moneybagg Yo. For someone known to dominate social media with lifestyle reels and label success stories, the silence felt off-brand and deafening. Social media fans were quick to notice. Gotti's personal Instagram, typically active with daily content, grew quiet. No stories, no new posts, no press features. His most recent upload remained unchanged as fans flooded the comments with theories and demands for answers. YouTube creators, hip-hop bloggers, and Reddit users pounced on the moment. Clips of Hernandez Govan's statements were time-stamped and analyzed. Hashtags like Where is Yo, CMG Silence, and Dolph Trial surfaced in fan spaces, especially in Memphis, Atlanta, and other CMG strongholds. Even Gotti's close affiliates kept low profiles. His business partner and CMG co-manager, usually active during album campaigns, stayed unusually silent. Black Youngsta, known for his brash, unapologetic online persona, also refrained from weighing in. But the core of this mystery isn't about legal documents or formal charges. It's about an unusual silence. In Southern hip-hop culture, especially amid legal heat, silence often isn't just a strategy, it's a message. Some read it as protection, others see it as foreshadowing. To be clear, Yo Gotti has not been charged, named as a suspect, or referenced in any court filings tied to Young Dolph's murder. Still, the optics matter. The man who once declared, "I am Memphis," and built a brand on presence and control has gone quiet. In today's digital age, where absence sparks theories faster than facts, silence speaks. The blogs are buzzing, fan theories multiply. In the court of public opinion, Yo Gotti's silence has become its own headline, and everyone's listening. Hernandez Govan's background and charges. Before his name made national headlines, Hernandez Govan was a relatively unknown figure outside of Memphis. But within law enforcement circles, Govan had been on the radar for years. A Memphis native, Govan was not initially viewed as a central figure in the high-profile murder of rapper Young Dolph. That changed dramatically in late 2022 when prosecutors unveiled a much deeper investigation. In November 2022, Govan was indicted by a grand jury on 3 serious charges: first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. According to Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy, Govan is believed to have been the mastermind who ordered the fatal shooting of Young Dolph, which occurred on November 17th, 2021, outside Makita's Homemade Cookies in South Memphis.
That I had with my son, and my son was like, you know, he wanted me to take the deal. And his position was, you know, he'll rather lose me for a few years than the rest of my life.
Right, because you're facing life in prison.
Correct.
Do you have a death penalty in Memphis?
Yeah, they do.
Prosecutors allege that Govan did not personally carry out the shooting, but conspired with others to execute the hit. In particular, court filings suggest that Govan played a coordinating role, arranging the details that led to the ambush. His indictment came nearly a year after Dolph's death, signaling the complexity of the investigation and the latest authorities had to unravel. Records show 43-year-old Hernandez Govan, who was just indicted in the rap star slaying along with Johnson and Cornelia Smith, once lived just a few houses down. At the time of the charges, Hernandez Govan was known in local Memphis circles as the father of Lakash Desto, a rising female rapper affiliated with Lil Uzi Vert. In a separate tragedy, Desto, whose real name was Destiny Govan, was shot and killed in Houston, Texas in September 2022, just weeks before her father's indictment. While authorities in Houston have not linked her death to the Dolph case, the back-to-back nature of these violent events drew considerable public attention, and some online communities have speculated about a possible connection, though no official source has confirmed any relationship between the two crimes. Public records also reveal that law enforcement had been surveilling Govan for months prior to his arrest. During pretrial motions, prosecutors cited cell phone data, text messages, and recorded conversations as key components of the case. While the full wiretap evidence has not been made public, the prosecution contends that these records show Govan's communications with individuals involved in the planning stages of the murder. Govan pleaded not guilty to all three charges and has been awaiting trial while out on a $90,000 bond. His bond release in early 2023 came under scrutiny from Dolph supporters and members of the Memphis community, but it was granted under strict conditions, including GPS monitoring and limitations on public activity. In court, Govan's legal team has maintained that there is no physical evidence tying him to the crime scene or proving he gave the final order. Prosecutors, on the other hand, continue to portray him as the architect of the murder, a man who operated from the shadows, orchestrating events that culminated in Dolph's death. As of now, the full evidence file remains sealed from public view, but courtroom summaries, legal motions, and selective media coverage have only deepened public interest in Govan's alleged role. While the trial is still unfolding, his name remains at the heart of a murder case that continues to shake the hip-hop community nationwide. What Hernandez Govan really said. When Hernandez Govan appeared in court for one of his earliest major hearings, many expected a routine legal process, file entries, procedural motions, and bond discussions. But what unfolded drew national attention and reignited online speculation about who else might be connected to the murder of Young Dolph. During a bond hearing in early 2023, Govan and let's just say his comments were interesting. He didn't explicitly name Yo Gotti, but his vague allusions to conversations and financial dealings were enough to send the internet into a frenzy. Essentially, Govan seemed to be subtly hinting at outside influence, suggesting he was taking orders from someone else. The legal team quickly tried to downplay the significance of his statements, claiming he was simply confused and disoriented, but the damage was done. The internet exploded with theories, with many pointing fingers directly at Yo Gotti. The fact that Govan seemed to be pointing the finger, even in a roundabout way, only fueled the speculation. It was a calculated risk, undoubtedly, and one that has complicated his legal defense. The details of those conversations remain sealed, but the implication is clear. Someone else was pulling the strings. That's what the internet believes anyway, and when the internet believes something, it tends to stick around. The legal ramifications of his statements are still unfolding, but one thing is certain: Hernandez Govan's comments only deepened the mystery surrounding Young Dolph's murder. The narrative shifted. It was no longer just about Hernandez Govan. It was about who he was working for. It was a dangerous game, and one that could have serious consequences. And right now, the spotlight is squarely on Yo Gotti. The immediate aftermath was chaos. Police flooded the scene, blocking off streets and launching a massive investigation. Social media erupted in grief and outrage.
Well, at one point, Young Dolph and Yo Gotti started getting into it. Do you know the reason why the friction actually started? Because you hear like 20 different stories.
Well, from what I understand, I know Gotti tried to sign him years ago. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for whatever reason, Dolph decided not to. I think Dolph was...
Young Dolph's death wasn't just a tragedy for his family and friends. It was a blow to the entire hip-hop community. A stark reminder of the violence that could lurk beneath the surface of fame and success. The outpouring of condolences and tributes was overwhelming, but beneath the surface of the grief, a sense of unease settled in. How could someone, a beloved figure known for his generosity and community support, be executed so brazenly in broad daylight? The investigation began immediately. The Memphis Police Department, with the assistance of the FBI and ATF, scoured the area for clues. Surveillance footage from nearby businesses was analyzed, witness statements were collected, and countless leads were pursued. The initial focus was on identifying the suspects and determining the motive. The Mercedes-Benz used in the shooting was quickly identified, and a nationwide manhunt was launched. The focus quickly shifted to understanding the who, why, and how of Young Dolph's murder, a task complicated by the wall of silence that often surrounds criminal investigations, particularly when high-profile figures are involved. The early days of the investigation were frustrating for law enforcement. Information was scarce, and witnesses were reluctant to come forward. The fear of reprisal was palpable, especially in a community where street credibility often trumps cooperation with the authorities. Then, almost 2 years after the murder, a breakthrough occurred. Through a complex web of informants, surveillance, and meticulous detective work, investigators identified and apprehended Justin Johnson, also known as Directa, and Cornelia Smith, also known as Trapman. Their arrests marked a significant turning point in the case, bringing the investigation closer to a resolution and offering a glimmer of hope for Young Dolph's family and the community that mourned his loss. But the arrests also opened a new chapter 1 fraught with complexities and potential for further revelations. While Johnson and Smith were charged with first-degree murder, the investigation continued to focus on identifying the mastermind behind the plot. Who ordered the hit? Who provided the weapons? Who facilitated the logistics? These were the questions that lingered in the minds of investigators, the questions that would ultimately determine the full scope of the conspiracy. And it was these questions that would eventually lead to the shocking confession of Hernandez Govan. Govan's involvement in the case had been suspected for some time. His cryptic comments during a bond hearing, his known associations with individuals connected to the Memphis rap scene, and his overall behavior had raised red flags for investigators. However, establishing a direct link between Govan and the murder had proven to be challenging. The lack of physical evidence and the wall of silence surrounding the case had made it difficult to build a solid case against him. That is, until the negotiations began. Negotiations prompted by a desperate attempt to reduce his charges. The details of the agreement remain sealed, but the fallout has been explosive. Govan's confession, while not officially released to the public, has sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. According to sources familiar with the investigation, Govan admitted to orchestrating the hit on Young Dolph, acting as a middleman between the shooter and someone higher up the chain of command. He allegedly received payment for his involvement and provided logistical support to the shooters. The identity of the person Govan implicated remains a closely guarded secret, a critical piece of information that could unravel the entire conspiracy and lead to the arrest of even more individuals. But the mere fact that Govan has confessed to being involved is a monumental development, a clear indication that the investigation is nearing its conclusion. The revelation has reignited speculation about the role of Gotti and CMG in the murder. The rumors and theories that have been swirling for years finally given a semblance of credibility. The internet, predictably, has exploded with activity. Social media platforms are buzzing with discussions, analyses, and speculations. YouTube videos dissecting Govan's confession, Reddit threads analyzing the potential motives of Gotti, and TikTok videos highlighting the subtle clues that have been overlooked for years are trending. The court of public opinion has already rendered its verdict, and Gotti is squarely in the crosshairs.
Now, what about Young Dolph?
Yeah, I know Dolph. I knew Dolph personally. Yes, sir. We did business years ago before he actually blew up. He was rapping at the time, but he hadn't blown up yet. Just being in the street.
The evidence, or lack thereof, surrounding CMG's involvement remains circumstantial. The long-standing feud between Young Dolph and Gotti, the history of threats and provocations, the ambushing of Dolph's SUV in Charlotte, all these factors have contributed to the narrative that CMG had a motive to want Young Dolph out of the picture. The silence from Gotti himself has only fueled the flames. His reluctance to publicly address the allegations, his refusal to cooperate with the investigation, have been interpreted by many as an admission of guilt. Whether the allegations will ever be proven in a court of law remains to be seen. The legal system is a complex and deliberate process, and it requires more than just speculation and circumstantial evidence to secure a conviction. But the confession of Hernandez Govan has undeniably shifted the narrative, bringing CMG and Yo Gotti back into the spotlight and raising serious questions about their involvement in the murder of Young Dolph. The implications of Govan's confession extend far beyond the legal proceedings. It has shaken the hip-hop community, exposing the dark underbelly of fame, fortune, and rivalry. It has also raised questions about the responsibility of artists and record labels to promote peace and discourage violence. The murder of Young Dolph was a tragedy, a senseless loss of life that could have been prevented, and the ongoing investigation with its revelations and complexity serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition and the destructive power of vengeance. The future remains uncertain, further arrests are possible, more secrets may be revealed, and the full truth about the murder of Young Dolph may still be hidden beneath layers of deception and silence. But one thing is clear, the investigation has reached a critical juncture, a moment of reckoning that could finally bring justice to Young Dolph and closure to his grieving family. The internet continues to analyze every detail, piecing together the puzzle and debating the potential roles of those involved. The focus remains on Yo Gotti and CMG, and the world waits to see if the allegations will be substantiated and if justice will ultimately prevail. That silence is deafening. The details that emerge from these digital streets are often fragmented, contradictory, and fueled by speculation. Yet they reflect a deep-seated hunger for truth, a frustration with the slow pace of justice, and a desire to understand the forces at play in the tragic loss of Young Dolph. Consider the dissection of Yo Gotti's lyrics, line by line, searching for coded messages, veiled threats, or subtle admissions of guilt. Fans meticulously compare verses from past diss tracks, contrasting them with the events leading up to Dolph's murder. The internet has become a collective crime scene investigation, where every lyric, every social media post, every interview is scrutinized for clues. Then there's the constant debate about the role of record labels and the broader hip-hop industry. Was Young Dolph's independent success, his refusal to conform to the traditional label system, a challenge to the established order? Did his entrepreneurial spirit threaten the revenue streams of powerful industry players? The narrative has shifted from a simple feud between artists to a complex web of business rivalries, power struggles, and potentially calculated acts of sabotage. Of course, this level of intense scrutiny and speculation carries its own dangers. The risk of misinformation spreading, reputations being unfairly tarnished, and innocent individuals being wrongly accused is ever present. The desist letters sent to hip-hop bloggers serve as a stark reminder of the legal and personal consequences of online investigations. Yet, despite these risks, the conversation continues, driven by a collective desire for answers and a demand for accountability. The courtroom proceedings themselves offer a glimpse into the complexities of the case, but they also highlight the limitations of the legal system. The absence of Yo Gotti's name in official testimony, despite years of public tension and numerous allegations, is a source of constant speculation. Is it a sign of his innocence, or a deliberate attempt to shield him from scrutiny? The sudden sidebar during a pre-trial hearing, the cryptic reference to sealed federal cooperation, and the brief mention of Anthony Mims, Big Juke, in a previous hearing all contribute to a sense of mystery and intrigue.
Why do they keep trying to make it a rap beef between you and Gotti, though?
If it's something about you I just don't respect, bro, I can't sit and fake and act like it's all good.
That's understandable.
Know what I'm saying? Like, the first time I even met Lil Dude, go in the studio. First time. He sent everybody out the studio. Like, let me holler at dog. Like, man, you got your own everything. Where you popping. Like, where you got the money, you got your team, you got this, you got that. Like, bro, I'm telling you, we can do this, we can do that. You ain't like Zilla. I ain't gotta hold your hand like Zilla. You ain't like Starlito. I ain't gotta hold your hand like Starlito. I ain't gotta babysit you like them. It's my first time meeting you. You gonna really sit and downplay your artist and throw your artist up on the bus to try to persuade me in to come over there? So it's like a red alert the first time I met him.
You feel like
I can't respect that.
About me.
No, it's just, I can't respect that.
The fact that Big Juke's name was uttered in court before his own tragic death only amplified the speculation, further blurring the lines between fact and conjecture. Some theorize that these sealed documents contain evidence that could implicate individuals beyond the three currently indicted, while others believe they are a means of protecting powerful figures who orchestrated the murder from behind the scenes. The defense's challenge to the prosecution's narrative, particularly the claim that Hernandez-Govan masterminded the hit, only adds another layer of complexity to the case. The lack of a clear motive for Govan, the absence of direct evidence, linking him to the planning of the murder, and the potential for mitigating circumstances all contribute to a sense of doubt and uncertainty. The courtroom, after all, is a stage for carefully constructed arguments, where lawyers battle for control of the narrative and judges strive to uphold the principles of justice. The truth, however, often lies hidden beneath layers of legal maneuvering, witness hesitations, and redacted documents. The murder of Big Juke, Yo Gotti's older brother, just months after his name surfaced in court, undeniably added a devastating element of tragedy to the unfolding narrative. While authorities maintain that his death was a targeted killing with no apparent connection to the Dolph case, the timing is undeniably suspicious. The swiftness of the investigation, the lack of identified suspects, and the widespread speculation online all contribute to a sense of unease and conjecture. Was it a coincidence, a case of mistaken identity, or a deliberate act of retaliation? The questions linger, fueling the online discourse and deepening the sense of mystery surrounding the case. Many speculate that Big Juke held information vital to the investigation, information that someone wanted to remain hidden. Others believe his death was a warning, a message to anyone considering cooperating with law enforcement. Regardless of the motive, the loss of another life underscores the dangerous consequences of the conflict and the urgent need for justice. The reliance on digital forensics, cell tower data, text messages, phone records offers a glimpse into the meticulous process of piecing together the events leading up to Dolph's death. However, these digital footprints can be easily manipulated, and their interpretation is often subject to bias and speculation. Forensic experts may present compelling evidence, but their conclusions can be challenged by the defense, who may argue that the data is incomplete, inaccurate, or misinterpreted. The constant stream of leaked information, unverified rumors, and speculative theories only further complicates the situation, making it difficult to distinguish fact from fiction. It's become increasingly clear that the case isn't merely about identifying the individuals who pulled the trigger. It's about uncovering the network of individuals who orchestrated the crime and the motives that drove them to commit such a senseless act. The true story, one suspects, is far more complex and far-reaching than what has been publicly revealed. The comments made by Hernandez-Govan, the confessed shooter, provide a tantalizing, albeit fragmented, glimpse into the planning of the crime. His words, carefully parsed and analyzed by internet sleuths, suggest a level of premeditation and coordination that extends far beyond the actions of mere street-level shooters. The details he has shared, however, are often incomplete, contradictory, and potentially self-serving. It's unclear whether he is fully cooperating with law enforcement, or whether he is selectively revealing information to protect himself or others. His cryptic remarks, his evasive answers, and his carefully chosen words all contribute to a sense of uncertainty and intrigue. The internet naturally has dissected every syllable, searching for hidden meanings and overlooked clues. The speculation surrounding his potential cooperation with authorities has only intensified the online frenzy. His statements, despite their fragmentary nature, offer a chilling glimpse into the cold-blooded planning of the crime. The ongoing investigation is a testament to the tenacity of law enforcement and the unwavering pursuit of justice. But it also serves as a stark reminder of the challenges involved in unraveling complex criminal conspiracies. The reliance on digital evidence, the importance of witness cooperation, and the complexities of legal proceedings all contribute to a slow and arduous process.
You can't have no issue. I ain't got no issue with you. Like, bro, you don't. Man, I done took care of people in his family, put money in their pocket. Know what I mean? So like, I don't want to go too much into that, bro, because it's like, no.
Media coverage, while essential for informing the public, can also exacerbate tensions and fuel speculation. The internet, with its boundless capacity for both information and misinformation, has become a powerful force in shaping public perception of the case. The truth, however, remains elusive, shrouded in layers of secrecy, speculation, and legal maneuvering. Ultimately, it is the courts that will render judgment, but the court of public opinion has already begun its own deliberation, fueled by the relentless pursuit of answers and the unwavering demand for justice. The lingering questions, however, remain. Who orchestrated this tragic crime? What were the underlying motives, and will the true perpetrators ever be brought to justice? The whisper started subtly, a low hum beneath the roar of online speculation. They were louder than the headlines, more persistent than the endless loops of Hernandez Govan's fragmented statements. It wasn't just about a shooter, it was about a network, an orchestration. The internet, as it invariably does, amplified every nuance, every hesitation in his words, transforming them into complex narratives, intricate theories about power and betrayal. But the recent development, the revelation from another individual, directly linked to the events, has shifted the narrative, demanding a new level of scrutiny. The confession, stark and unambiguous, didn't simply identify a shooter. It pointed directly at a figure who had seemingly remained in the shadows, insulated by wealth and influence. The implications are staggering. While Hernandez Govan's statements provided glimpses into the planning, the identities of the individuals directing those actions remained shrouded in a carefully constructed veil. His descriptions, though fragmented, hinted at a complex structure, a tiered system of command. He spoke of the boss, of the instructions, of a clear chain of communication that reached far beyond the streets of Memphis. The internet. Sleuths meticulously dissected these references, cross-referencing them with known associates, analyzing financial records, and tracking digital footprints. The speculation, fueled by Hernandez Govan's carefully chosen words, coalesced around several potential figures, but concrete evidence remained elusive. Then came the new voice, a crucial piece of the puzzle, a confession that shattered the carefully maintained facade. This new individual, now identified only as Justin, stepped forward, offering a narrative far more direct, far more damning than anything Hernandez Govan had previously revealed. His testimony didn't just confirm the existence of a superior figure, it explicitly implicated Yo Gotti, a celebrated rapper and figure within the Memphis music scene, as the mastermind behind Dolph's murder. The revelation sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, igniting a firestorm of controversy and demanding a swift and thorough investigation. The weight of the accusation, coming from someone directly involved in the events, was immense. The internet, predictably, exploded. Justin's account corroborated many of Hernandez Govan's cryptic references, painting a clear picture of how the plot was conceived and executed. He described meetings, coded language, and a meticulous planning process that spanned months. He detailed the financial incentives offered to the shooters and the specific instructions given regarding the target, Young Dolph, a beloved figure in the Memphis community. Most significantly, he identified Yo Gotti as the individual who authorized the hit and provided the resources for its execution. The confession wasn't delivered through a press conference or a formal statement. It emerged through a series of online posts and private messages shared with select individuals who then disseminated the information across the internet. The anonymity afforded by the digital realm provided Justin with a degree of protection, but it also added another layer of complexity to the already convoluted case. The authenticity of the confession has been subject to intense scrutiny, with experts analyzing the language, the writing style, and the technical details provided. While some have questioned the veracity of the claims, the sheer volume of corroborating evidence, financial transactions, digital communications, and witness testimony lends considerable weight to Justin's account.